All right. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well this Saturday morning. My name is 12 Gauge and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, I hope that you find something that interests you, something that keeps your interest to be able to come back. If you've came here before, you understand the concept. Everything that's spoke here is alleged and it's my opinion until further information is found out true. So let's get into this. I started a series last night on cold cases, and it went a little long, and I didn't get a chance to finish it, so I'm going to complete it this morning. And I'm also going to update you on the Kansas mom's case because there's been some new information that I feel that's relevant to be able to be brought about to show you guys. Um, when we begin this cold case, we're going to talk about an individual by the name Oakley Carlson. Oakley was a young girl that was failed by social services. And you're going to see how social services failed this little girl. And hopefully, you gain an understanding of how important it is sometimes to keep the children with the individuals that are watching them. I'm not saying that this is the case in the Kansas mom case because I don't know enough about the CPS case that they were going through, but I have contracted to CPS, and I've seen a lot of times that whenever they are given, when the children are given over to another another family or a family member, and it goes a while, it's almost like CPS has done their job for them, and they don't want to give the child back. They start fighting for custody. They start, sabotaging the biological parents, this, that, and the other. But you're going to see in Oakley's case, that wasn't the case. She was given to an awesome family, and then something tragic happened. So let's get on this, and I'll let you watch what the individual had to say. And before I start, I want to give Fox 13 Seattle the credit for this video. It's called "The Spotlight Investigates Where the Missing Washington Girl, Oakley Carlson." And please pay attention to the details because it could happen to anybody's child. And pay attention to the details of the social services, of what they did and what they could have done different. But I don't want to spoil any of this, so let's go ahead and start watching. That's just tragic. That's just tragic stuff right there. Like I said, I used to contract to CPS, and you would see that a lot. You would see a lot of parents that were on drugs. They were abusive. They were not very good parents, and they'd get their children back. And what the first thing they would start doing again? Excuse me. They would rebel against CPS because here in Texas, CPS can be up in your life up to a year after your case is closed. So if you get your kid back, as I understand it, they can make random surprise um, visits, and if your child is not doing well, or if they get report that you're back doing what you used to do, then they can follow up and take your child again. Since I was doing classes, um, they would have to complete the classes with me in order to complete this family plan that was designed for them to get the treatment that they needed in order to overcome some of the deficiencies that they had of being parents. But a lot of them wouldn't want to complete the treatment. I had this one family. Um, the dad had allowed or walked in on, I don't know if he allowed, but he walked in on his oldest daughter, which was 13, um, having sexual relations with an older boy, which was his oldest daughter's boyfriend. And the reason that I was called out there was because they were smoking weed, and they had the weed in the proximity of the two other kids. So they had like four kids total. Well, those kids were taken out of the home, and this was in deep East Texas. And this family, it looked like they had some physical deformities and things like that. And well, the kids were taken away. They started their treatment with me. We started the treatment plan. We started doing all this stuff. And then one day I show up, and the dad's pissed off. The mom's kind of shut down. And basically, they don't want to do it anymore because we had to do like 90 days, I think, which is nothing to get your kids back. But they didn't want to do it anymore. And by this point, they had their kids back because they had started the treatment. Okay. Well, I said, okay, you don't want to do this? That's fine. I'm not going to force you. So I left. The next day, I called the CPS officer and I let him know what happened. Well, that day, the CPS officer went out there and removed the kids again. No sooner did I got to my office that afternoon, I started getting calls from this man threatening me about how I had his kids removed and this and that and the other. And they were participating in the treatment and all this other stuff. Very vile threats and names and all this other stuff. I ended up blocking him, so I don't know what happened to that family, but I can attest to some of the workers. I've known people that have worked as investigators here in Texas for CPS, and their cases were high. Most of them were on call or their phone rang nonstop because of uncertainty of what to do in these situations. They almost treated the CPS worker like a probation officer. The family did. They would ask for direction. Can we do this? Can we do that? And that kind of leads me to the next video that I'm going to show, which is on an update on the Kansas moms, which they were in a bitter battle for custody and things of that nature as well. There's one thing that people don't play around with, and that's their children. But there's always some one parent that is willing to take it to the extreme. In the Oakley Carlson case, you could see that the children were exposed to methamphetamine, young children. So they either were crawling around the floor, the particles were all over the floor, when the smoke settles, all the residue and everything, crawling on the tables and stuff. Because if you've ever been in a drug addict's home who's active in their addiction, it's not the cleanest, no matter what people want to tell you. Their misconception of, oh, they're on meth or they're on cokes or they're constantly cleaning or they're smoking weed and it gives them energy. Well, you know what? That's the exception, not the rule. There are some people that act like that when they're under the influence, but most people are lazy. When they get to the point of tolerance that it takes more and more to get the same effects, you know, um, their body isn't functioning like it once did on the meth. And if these parents were dealing, then I'll bet you that the kids were not the priority. The one thing that I was happy to hear is that the investigator said that there was no information that Oakley had been trafficked or sold, and that's a good thing because that's another trend that happens if you have young children and you have huge drug debts or you owe money. They take your children and they traffic them, and no telling where them children are going to end up, what kind of trauma they're going to experience. It's just a sad, sad world. So be vigilant and try to take care of your family the best you can. If you're having struggle that your mental capacity is not able to overcome, please ask for help before it gets too bad. There are countless avenues of assistance, and most of them are free. Let me play this other video and then I'll get out of here. I got to get to the gym. And here we go. You know what people don't understand a lot of times is they say, well, what do they have to gain? What the end game of somebody potentially murdering somebody for their kids? Well, you have to look at this on a different perspective. If you're not financially stable, if you're not financially able to take care of yourself, some people utilize the children as a financial means of stability for their family. You know, um, they can get up to some money for these children that they're taking care of. So, if you all of a sudden have gotten acclimated with getting money that you weren't getting before, you're able to live a life that's all of a sudden comfortable. And then all of a sudden, somebody says, okay, I want my kids back. Money is an ugly thing. It drives people to do ugly things, whether you owe it, whether you gain it, or whether you're on a quest to achieve it. It makes good people evil very quickly. So there's no telling all that went on with this situation. There's not a lot of evidence in this case, so it's kind of difficult to, dabble down certain areas or discuss certain things. But this is some valuable information today that I thought I should share with you guys because if they were shot, that means that potentially they were not in that area when they were shot, or maybe they were shot in that area and then they were moved somewhere else. Anything could have happened. Well, this is everything I had planned for this morning. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't go live because I don't have a lot of people that go into chat with me unless I'm talking about the Idaho 4. And honestly, I don't want to talk about that every time. There's other things to talk about. So hopefully you learned some things, or you got some information, you got some kind of education on the CPS or avenues that are the pitfalls. And even if you yourself aren't dealing with this, we're all affected by these things because you never know if one of your family members might be affected by this. And you could give them some knowledgeable insight rather than myth or just blatantly saying that you don't know. But you know what we do about this time? Maestro, cue the music.